Hi, this is Mrs. Bora, and I will be reading the model essay from your D2L. It's titled, All Shook Up. Not again, I protested when I heard Mom's news. Where are we going this time? We've moved 6 times in the 12 years since I was born. That's because my dad's job is to set up offices for his company, and each time he finishes establishing a new one, we move. California, said Mom. I'm sorry we have to uproot you again. She opened a map and pointed out the town we'd be moving to, north of San Francisco. She truly sounded sorry, but I could see she was pleased too, because she's from California. She'd always said Chicago was too noisy for her. For one thing, the elevated railway wasn't far from our apartment. Whenever the trains rumbled past, the chandelier in our living room swung to and fro. My stomach felt full of cold lead. You'd think I'd be used to moving, but I felt sick every time. Now I'd have to say goodbye once more to the friends and places I'd just come to feel comfortable with. Plus, Chicago was the most exciting place we'd lived. It had everything: great parks, libraries, museums, skating rinks, and playing fields. Only 5 blocks from home was the youth center, where I played volleyball or board games or just hung out joking around with friends. That day, after learning the news, I went straight to the youth center to find my friends. Their smiles turned into gloomy frowns when I said I'd be leaving in a few weeks. We grumbled about my bad luck. Finally, Eric said, "Moaning and groaning isn't going to change anything. Can anyone say something good about this move?" Sarah piped up, "Well, Megan, you'll be lying on a warm beach while we're still slogging through the snow." I pictured myself lazing on a stretch of white sand, a gentle blue sea rocking before me, and palm trees rustling behind me. I could go for that. "Just think," added Josh, "no freezing rain or sub-zero temperatures. No tornadoes, no blizzards," contributed Kayla. "Just lovely sunny days." "Yeah, all you have to worry about are earthquakes," Josh joked. "Earthquakes? Oh, great! I'd forgotten about earthquakes. I'd once researched the 1906 San Francisco quake. Nearly the whole city had burned down. Say earthquake to me, and I can see buildings collapsing and great clouds of dust. I can see flames devouring houses and thick black smoke menacingly hiding the sun. Of course, I knew that the houses were flimsy fire traps way back then, but somehow that made no difference to my imagination. I tried to sound cool, but I don't know if my friends believed me when I responded, "So, earthquakes are no big deal." I tried not to think about earthquakes all month as we were packing for our move. However, every so often the rumble of the train called up an image of buildings toppling and flames shooting up. I kept my mouth grimly shut. If Mom and Dad weren't nervous, then I wasn't going to let them see I was. At last we flew into San Francisco, It was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was too sleepy to notice anything. So it wasn't until the next day that I got my first surprise. I woke up early, put on my shorts, hurried outside, and my legs turned blue. It was cold! Mom had to explain, in Northern California, we have real winters. My second surprise came that afternoon when we toured the area and then drove to a beach. No white sand or swaying palm trees graced this beach. We stood on a cliff, backed by dark evergreens. A green-brown sea crashed furiously on the gigantic, jagged rocks below. My last surprise came the next morning. While Mom was at the supermarket, I was shelving books in my new bookcase. Suddenly, I heard a low rumble, and the room seemed to shudder for a few seconds. I thought, Mom is really going to be upset when she finds out we're living near train tracks again. I went on unpacking books. 5 minutes later, Mom came home, worry written on her face. "I hope you weren't scared," she said. "Of what?" "Of the earthquake." "That was an earthquake?" I exclaimed. I felt cheated. I'd been in an earthquake and hadn't even known it. I couldn't wait to write to my friends in Chicago. The end.